Gordo, welcome back.
Tom, man, no, it's been so long.
It's been so long. Dude, you're wearing the same shirt. Do you not have other shirts?
Yeah, no, this is all I have. It's like one of those Nickelodeon shows where you open up my closet and it's the exact same shirt and shorts.
Yeah,
Just like
that
30 copies of them,
that would make life so easy if you like honestly.
wouldn't it?
And that's how it was in school for
Yeah,
me. Because I went, anyone
yeah.
doesn't know, I went to a Catholic high school or middle school and grade school and everything, and
No, yeah.
had a
Had your
uniform.
uniform.
Opened up my
Yep.
closet. I had 10 white polos, 10 khaki shorts and
Mm-hmm.
pants, and I just put them on and went to school every day. It was fantastic.
Really takes away the need for decision making.
It does. It really does.
You could probably sleep in like 15 or 20 minutes longer because you don't have to worry about that time we're in the closet. Like, oh, what in the world am I gonna wear?
Right. My sister, she used to, when she was in like grade school, she would take a shower at night, put her school uniform on, and sleep in it.
Mm-hmm.
So then she could wake up 10 minutes
Nice.
before we left and just go
Wow, she's ahead of her time.
ahead of her time. um, but so, this is, if you're watching and you like our podcast about absolutely nothing, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, and definitely leave us a mean comment in the comment section because only the
Yeah.
best podcasts have really toxic comments. So
Yeah, give Tom's mustache a review
yeah,
of
review
one to
my
10.
horrible mustache.
Yeah,
All right, Gordo. So I heard you've recently beat Elden Ring.
I did for many hours and many cuss words. I did beat it. Um,
Well, props to you. I have not beaten it yet.
yep.
Um, my issue with me is I've played about 20 hours, but I
Hmm.
play about 2 hours and then I don't play it for a while, and so when I come back, I have to relearn what the hell I'm doing,
Right.
and so I keep like just playing these small spurts of game, and I need to just sit down and just play that game for like 5 hours to really make any progress.
Yeah. I think I beat it. I think my total time was like 55 hours or so.
That's pretty
Um,
quick from what I've
yeah, I
heard
mean,
online.
I feel like I did quite a bit as well. I mean, there's probably a lot that I still could have done, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like I did it pretty quickly. Um, well, I mean, I guess quickly compared to like some people who were like 100 hours into the game, but
Yeah, I think
um,
because I think Paul beat it at 75 hours,
yeah,
but I think he did a lot more stuff on the side.
yeah.
Um,
Um, I was ready for it to be over. Towards the end, like you get to where you think you're in the end game, and then all of a sudden you're in a new place, and then you're like, okay, this is probably the end zone, and then you beat that, and then you go to another place, and it's just like, because I have a couple people that also play it that I was talking to, and yeah, we were all saying the same thing about like you beat this one boss, and you think that's the
right,
final boss,
right.
and then you have another boss, and then another boss, and another boss. Um, it just kept on going, and eventually, I sort of got to the point where I was just like, "Let's end this." So I started a couple bosses where I got like was beating against a wall, just like couldn't beat them. Even after like going and taking a couple hours to like get another 10 levels onto my character and going back and then still just banging my head against a wall, I eventually just started summoning. um,
Yeah,
I think I only did that for two bosses.
nowhere.
um, but yeah, I was just at the point like I just want to beat this and move on because I just needed a break. I mean,
Yeah,
I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, and the day Elden Ring came out, I stopped playing that, and I didn't touch another game until I beat Elden Ring.
nowhere. Yeah, so for me, kind of very similar. I got Horizon. I was playing that. I really enjoyed it. Elden Ring came out, and I was just trying to only play Elden Ring. Um, I had just busy work schedule things, so I didn't get to play as much as I was wanting. Um, But yeah, no, I really enjoy Elden Ring, and I think it's surprising to me that um, when Zelda came out, Zelda Breath of the Wild came out 4 years ago
Hmm.
now. Um, it had a very similar formula to Elden Ring where they don't really give you a tutorial. They kind of just give you a stick and they say, all right, go ahead, figure it out. And
Yeah.
in
Killed by
those,
this boss.
yeah, and it's obviously those games are similar, but they're also very different. And
Yeah.
but it's that kind of like that just idea of, well, these people have played video games before. They can figure this stuff out, right? And I love that because I feel like so many games just hold your hands now.
Yeah.
And even like when you compare it to something like Horizon Forbidden West, because I've actually been playing that a little bit more lately. Because
Hmm.
sometimes if I'm not ready to go hit my head against the wall, I want to
Yeah.
play something else. So I've been
Right.
playing some Horizon Forbidden West. That game is really really great. It's really amazing. But it's a really weird contrast to go back and forth between that and Elden Ring, because Elden Ring, you're just like, well, what should I go do next? Oh, there's a cool location over there. Let me go
Yeah.
over there. Where Horizon Forbidden West, I often just open up my map, click what I want, and then I just follow for the next quest, whatever. I'm just following some map the whole time.
Right.
And a lot of open world games do that. You have the Ubisoft games where they're very extreme, where you have like
Oh
a
my God.
thousand items on your map. Um, so yeah, I don't know what open worlds game do you prefer? Do you prefer like having a little bit more breadcrumbs for you, or do you just want to just give me a
Um,
blank canvas and let me go?
I do like having a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it hand holding, but just like a little bit of an outline of what you should be doing.
Yeah,
I think like the Assassin's Creed games are probably the worst kind of open world
yeah,
game hand holding in my mind, because like you go up to the top of a tower and look out and you have like 300 different colored things all over the map and you're like, what in the hell am I supposed to go and do? Um,
right.
but then you have Elden Ring where they don't really tell you anything. You have like this little guiding light or whatever it is that like points you in the direction you should be going, but you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I can go in that direction. What am I supposed to do? Um, and then there's a lot of stuff. I don't know how you're supposed to find out some of this stuff without like a guide, but I know at least. I mean, I think you could mainline the bosses and finish the game. I think without having any sort of help. But if you want to go off and do some of these side quests that give you this cool, like the Moonlight Greatsword, which is like a famous sword from Souls, but you have to the way to get it. There, I had to go online and look it up and like
Mm.
basically use a guide to be like, okay, I need to go talk to this person and then go do this, because it just doesn't tell you what you need to do in the game. Um,
Right, but isn't that kind of a positive, right? Having, because that's the way it used to be with video games, right? Back in the day, where it's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I have to go find a guide or maybe ask a friend, and it kind of created a community around a game.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how games used to be, but I think not to the degree of Elden Ring. Like
Sure.
a game of that size with that, I mean, just
Yeah.
the sheer amount of things you can go and do.
There's a lot of
I also think,
mechanics in the game too that aren't
yeah,
really explained.
yeah, you just have to. It's like, well, fight this boss 30 times until you learn the mechanics. But I mean, I enjoy it, but I also I think when you get some of those like breadcrumbs and like an actual mission saying like, hey, you need to go do this, I feel that also helps with the story building, because
Mm-hmm.
you're going and talking to people to get that mission, and you have your mission log that usually has a little bit of backstory about
Yep.
like the person or the mission, so you end up understanding more of like what you're trying to go and do, and like um, how that affects the world around you. Whereas Elden Ring, I mean, there's a bit of a story. You do have to go looking for it and like talk to people and read more
Mm-hmm.
things and sort of just like put things together in your mind. but you don't really feel like the whole time I was playing it, I knew I was like, oh, I'm trying to become the Elden Lord. I'm trying to kill this boss and get all these rings or these
Right.
fragments. But other than that, you don't really. It doesn't really feel to me like there's really a great story there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I think I tend to like the Horizon Forbidden West sort of open world better. Where I mean, it's not to the extent of like an Assassin's Creed where you just have like icon vomit all over your screen.
Yeah.
Um, but you still have what you're trying to do. You're you're getting input from people that are explaining things to you, not
Yeah.
like in a cryptic manner like they do in Elden Ring. Um, so I mean,
So I still, cause I still feel like Horizon Forbidden West has too many icons on its screen, and there's too many little things like where it just lays it out for you. And I don't know, like I think Horizon Forbidden West obviously does 1,000 times better than the Assassin's Creed games, but
yeah,
I think it what I would probably like is a happy medium between Horizon Forbidden West and like an Elden Ring, right? Something
yeah,
that's a
I
little
would,
bit
yeah,
more
I'd want to,
like in the middle
yeah,
there. Maybe even if like Elden Ring just had like a journal of like, oh hey,
hmm,
this side mission you're doing, here's why you're doing it. Here's like the story elements that you've had so far. You didn't
yeah,
just have to remember, but
right,
because I think the only character in the Elden Ring that I've ran into a couple of times now, and I've like have followed the story a little bit is the pot guy, the guy that's a pot with
oh yeah,
I don't know what his actual name is, but just
yeah,
because it's a unique character.
right,
um, so that character I've followed a little bit, um, but yeah, and then it's because I don't know. I just feel like with Horizon, there's 1,000 things to go do in the game, which is great. But
hmm,
you open up your menu and a lot of that stuff. I'm just like, I don't really want to go do all these things. I just want to do like the
yeah. I
main
mean,
quest side. Like when I go my mission log in Horizon and I see the tab errands, I'm not doing a
yeah,
single errand.
yeah. I
Like
don't bother with any of that
yeah,
stuff. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a happy medium. But I mean, I feel like the Horizon, I'm just able to identify with my character in the story
yeah,
better there, and I think that also has something to do with seeing your character actually speak and talk and make like it feels like it's a real person, whereas you have like an Elden Ring where somebody else just talks and like you never see your character talk or do anything like that, so you don't feel like you're the character.
yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, because even like in Zelda Breath of the Wild, Link doesn't talk, but he's in the
Right.
cutscenes and he makes his facial expressions and he's a character.
Yeah.
Not much of a character, but he is one. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I like the Mass Effect games so much, is because you
yeah.
really get to make your character feel like an extension of you,
Mm-hmm.
because you're selecting those dialogue choices. You get to have your big old romance and all that stuff.
Big old
But
romance.
you get to you get to mold your character sort of into like a little bit of a um, unique main character, instead of just making the choices and playing the character that the developers want you to play.
Yeah, I will say though, like I'm sure it's difficult to do that in an open world game because
Yeah.
you like Mass Effect's a little bit more on the rails. Um,
Right.
so they can force you to make a decision at point A before you even get to
Mm.
point B that affects point B. Where in
Yeah.
Horizon it's hard to do that.
Right. No.
Um,
Yeah. I agree. Maybe one day.
maybe one day they'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I agree. I think some type of in my in my opinion, some type of in between Horizon and Elden Ring is probably where
Hmm.
because even there's a handful of things in Horizon that have always annoyed me. in those games.
Yeah.
But like it bothers me. This is such a weird thing. But why do I have to have like 4 different bows in my bag to shoot different types of arrows?
Oh yeah, I hate having to like switch a million times in combat because I want to
Yeah.
shoot a poison arrow. Now I want to shoot a fire arrow. Now I want to use my tripcaster, but now I want to shoot an explosive ice ball. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I know they're trying to give you like, hey, play how you want to play, or there's a lot of different enemies that need different arrows, but like, eventually, I mean, at a point there gets to be too much, you know?
Yeah. Like it's one thing, like I said, it'd be one thing if like your arrow, if your bow could just shoot all the different types of arrows. But the fact
Yeah.
that you have like three, I have like 3 or 4 different bows, and then I have to level them all up
Mm-hmm.
slowly, and then I have to swap bows out because I want to shoot a different type of arrow. It's so just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah,
stupid
and then you
little
find too
thing.
many boats, and you have to send it to your stash.
Yeah. Oh, I hate how the
Better send this to
stash
my
works
stash.
too.
Better send this to my stash.
Yeah, better send this to my stash. No, I get so frustrated because um so like you can only hold so many potions at once,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only hold so many items, and everything else gets sent to your stash. Well, what's frustrating is if
All
you're in a
right.
boss fight, they often
Mm-hmm.
lay around like potions and health regen
Yeah.
berries or whatever the fuck they are, and I'll have
Yeah.
to bleep that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if you go around and pick them all up, you'll send 90% to your stash. So you have to only pick them
Right.
up when you need one. And
Yeah.
it's so stupid and frustrating because I didn't catch that was happening during a boss fight that I was doing. I kept dying. I was like, why don't? I was like, I keep picking up all this health stuff. Why don't I have it? And then I'm like,
Well,
oh,
I
it's
mean,
sending it to my stash.
the berries you can replenish from your stash mid combat, like anywhere.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You just have to like hold up or something, and
Well,
it fills you back up.
okay. So yes, those. But like if you pick up a health potion, you can
Oh
only
yeah.
have so many health potions. And everything, and the
Right.
rest of them go to the stash, and you can't take it out of your stash until you go to the
Yeah.
box. I get so
Yeah.
frustrated with that. Um,
Yeah. It's. I just hate stashes in general. Like,
yeah, just let me. Why can't I just carry everything?
and inventory management is the least appealing thing in video games.
Yeah, like it's a
I
video
get.
game. My character can jump 8 feet
Yeah.
in the air. Let me
Yeah, I
carry.
get furious at it in Diablo, like when I have to go and manage my stash with like 10,000 rubies and diamonds and gems and all this armor stuff.
Hmm.
Like, stash management is just not fun.
Do
And
you
if
think
the
there's
per
a like technical reason why they do that? Like, there's like technical difficulties like on the software side of you just having a limited number of items.
No, I think they just want no. I think they just want to, because that would make it too easy mode. Like, if you can collect like 10,000 potions and just carry them all on you, like I feel like you're just gonna be able to roll through bosses because you can just sit there and nonstop replenish. Whereas having a stash management forces you to, play a little more tactically,
Yeah.
and you have to manage your health a little more
Mm-hmm.
seriously than just being like, well, I got 30 potions, so I'm just going to go in here and just roll into them.
Yeah, I get that because I know in Zelda Breath of the Wild you could just cook as many dinners as you wanted, and you go into a
Yeah.
battle, and you could get hit mid-air, have like a quarter heart, press
Hmm.
pause, eat a bunch of it, come back, and your health is back.
Yeah. I mean,
Which,
it's sort of like the Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring, like why is there a limit of what potions you can have and that sort of thing?
yeah,
Because you get into a boss fight, you're like, okay, I have 7 potions that I gotta. Well, you got to manage them between whether they refill your whatever it is, whatever the magic thing is.
the Crimson Tears.
Yeah, Crimson Tears and whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you have to manage between those, because if you just had unlimited health or
Mm-hmm.
something, then you just be able to like go whack a boss, run back, heal up, go back in, whack them. Whereas you got to be a little more.
Well, that's yeah, but
Uh,
that's different though a little bit. I feel um, like you can have as unlimited number of items in your bag, right?
yeah.
In Elden Ring.
Well, what? And you can only have like 999.
Oh, no, yeah. Wow. If I ever hit that point,
But
then
yeah. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, it's inventory management. It's just it's if someone can figure out how to come up with a proper inventory management system that isn't annoying and makes me want to die, then they'll have changed video games for me.
yeah. And the other difficult thing to always figure out is like, do I want to sell this item or can I level it up, or like what do I do with it?
Right.
Right. Like it is nice in some games where they're like, oh, this is junk. You just need to sell it. And in other games, it's like, well, here's a bunch of stuff. Like, what do I do with this? Like, do I actually use this item? Um,
Yeah. I like when it says is used for nothing but like selling to a vendor. Like when it
right.
tells you that, I'm like, okay, great. Because when it's like could be used for crafting this or that, I'm like, well, like, do I want to craft whatever it is? I better save it, and then I end up just having a million things in my stash that I've saved. And I'm not a huge crafter either. Like I don't spend a whole bunch of time crafting
Yeah.
stuff in video games.
That's the other thing that I'm always like very weird about is I don't like it when games are either like I rather it's either you have to craft everything or you
Mhm.
find it, or
Yeah,
or it's a game where you have to buy the things from people. Right? You go out, you get a bunch of
yeah,
money, now you can go buy something. When it's an in between, I hate it
hmm
because I'm like, oh, there's a new sword I could buy that's better than the sword I have, but do I want to waste that coin? I could find a new one like in just next mission.
right,
Because there's
yeah.
nothing worse than you go and you spend all this money to
And then
buy a
you get
new
a better
helmet
weapon, like
or a weapon,
yeah,
and then you go in your next mission and like, oh, hey, here's a
and you
new
get
weapon.
something better.
And you're like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah, that's terrible. I hate that. That used to happen to me in like World of Warcraft all the time. I'd
Yeah,
like craft something, buy something off the auction house, and then I'd like get an awesome roll in like a raid, and I'd be like, wow, I just spent half my gold,
yeah, yeah,
nothing.
yeah. It's this difficult life we live as gamers. How to make that decision?
It is. Yeah. Yep.
What else about
Only
open
game.
world games that drive us insane?
I don't know. I mean, open worlds are my favorite type of game because I like the freedom of choice. But I
Yeah,
mean,
and getting to dive into that world is always nice. Um,
yeah, I
what do
don't.
you
I'm
what do
not.
you
I don't
think
really.
about? Okay, so what in most open world games, you ride a horse around everywhere.
Hmm.
Do you prefer that horse to act normal, like a real life horse, and be really realistic, or do you
Yeah.
just want 100% control and can make 90-degree turns at any second?
I want it to be realistic. I mean, I feel like if they're gonna put a realistic, like if they're gonna put an animal in there,
Hmm.
then I want it to act like an animal.
Yeah,
Like if I was playing Red Dead Redemption and I could make my horse just do all sorts of like crazy stuff,
that's
I
fair.
think I would.
Yeah,
I'd lose the immersion.
yeah. So I notice in Elden Ring, you have like a lot of control over your horse.
Oh yeah, it's a
No,
it's a magical
it,
spirit steed.
right. Um, which I get, but I do. There are moments where I'm like, I really prefer that. But yeah, when I'm
Yeah,
playing Elden Ring, I want it to be very, or not Elden Ring, but Red Dead Redemption. I do want that to be very realistic. I want to feel like it's real and want to make a
yeah.
stupid
In
mistake.
in World of Warcraft, and your mounts have always been like if you're flying, like they fly like this, and then if
Hmm.
you're turning, they just turn like this or turn like this. Like there's no like banking or anything like that. But with the new expansion, they're finally introducing actual like more
Mm,
realistic flight mechanics. So like
yeah,
you can actually like bend
bank.
around a turn and like die like
That's
instead
cool.
of just having the up down left right. Which I mean, some people might not care that much, but that it actually I care about those sort of things because it just helps with the immersion to me.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, like, look at Sea of Thieves. 90% of that game, you're traveling on a boat.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
immersion of it, where you're actually setting the sails and turning and raising, lowering the anchor, that just makes it all
Yeah.
like it's all like a mini game in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely it helps.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, Gordon, what's an open world game you're looking forward to the most now?
Um, Starfield.
I think that's probably mine too. Do you think we're gonna get to fly a spaceship?
I think we are, and I'm hoping it has realistic flight mechanics.
I hope so too because I played. I don't know if you ever played Outer Wilds.
A
It's
little
kind
bit,
of like a
yeah.
space puzzle game, right? You have to kind
Yeah.
of figure out what's going on. Amazing game, but it was so fun just to go run, hop in a spaceship, and then just explore and try to solve this mystery. But actually
Yeah.
having to like fly it correctly and like doing all that is just so fun. So I really hope Starfield lets me fly a fucking spaceship.
Yeah, and that's why I mean I liked No Man's Sky because of the flying mechanics. I mean I didn't couldn't play it too much just because it didn't really have a story that
Yeah,
or anything like that. But I enjoyed the flying, so I'm like, if I can just fly a spaceship like that and also have an open world story that I care about, that would be pretty awesome. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I have my fingers crossed, and maybe it'll be the perfect open world game that we're looking for.
June
The nice
12th.
mix between the nice mix between
Yeah.
giving you too much detail and not enough detail. Like just nice,
Well,
not too
Skyrim's
hot,
like
not too
that.
cold, not too hot. Yeah,
Skyrim gives you a nice. There's no towers to go climb. It's but you have your quest page that you can track the story, um, and you can just
yeah.
explore and just make. Do you want to do that quest, or not? Um, so if this
I
is
also just
Skyrim in
found the
space, I'm gonna be
Skyrim.
really happy.
Yeah,
But if I have to choose between
we'll
crafting a
see.
weapon or buying a new one, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll wait and I just won't do either, and I'll just wait until I find something.
Yeah, then I would just have to use a shitty weapon.
No,
All right.
make it hard.
Well, June 12th, I think we'll find out more.
My birthday.
Nice. Great. It'll be a great
Yep,
birthday present. Getting to watch some Skyrim gameplay.
I hope so. Yeah,
Watch
or
that.
Starfield, you mean?
That's what I meant when I say Skyrim. Yeah, that's where my
Yep.
head's at. I might go play some Skyrim later.
Mm, do it.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up
All
this
right.
podcast. Gordo, thanks for joining me.
Another solid
A
session.
solid session. If you're still watching,
Yep.
finger bang that like button, flick
Hmm.
that bell, and
Yep.
click,
Do all the things.
do all the things. Hit all the buttons. All right.
Yep.
Peace.
All right. We'll see ya.